Hey, what's up guys? My name is Aaron White. I'm based in Houston, Texas. I am a realtor with eXp Realty and J&A Home Buyers. We are investors in the greater Houston area. We buy houses all over. Today, we're going to be teaching you how to get started in the real estate investing world. So if you are wanting to get started in the investing world, if you're a realtor wanting to learn more about the investing world, we're going to teach you how to build your own business, how to go from a side hustle into a real estate empire on finding deals. Finding good deals can make you a lot of money. And so we're going to be covering several things. One, how to flip a house with just $100 getting started. How do you make $5,000? I personally know people who've made six figures on one deal doing what we're going to cover today. So stay tuned. Six figures is not the norm. It'll probably take you some time to get there, but it happens. So how does an assignment work in Texas? How does an assignment of contract work in Texas? If you don't know what that means, that's what this video is going to cover. So also known as wholesaling, by the way. Why would a buyer assign that contract? Why would they give the upside in a deal or flip to another investor? Doesn't make any sense. We'll cover two reasons why. What goes into building a deal finding business? There's a lot that goes into it. It's not that simple. It's not easy. It really takes a personality that is dedicated, that's perseverant, and is a little bit stubborn at times to be able to get things done. But we're going to give you an outline of a number of things to do. Not all of it's going to be in this video. This video is actually the start of a series of videos that we're going to be creating, giving you step-by-step guides on how to handle all of the common problems that come in the process of building this business. If you're in Houston, Texas, reach out to us and we can walk you through a lot of these processes as well. So let's dive in. Okay, how do you, quote unquote, flip a house with just $100? That doesn't make any sense. By the way, you don't even have to swing a hammer, hire a contractor, deal with any of that nonsense. You all know how flipping a house works. You've watched HGTV before, and you've seen Chip and Joanne, all of them, right? So very simply, buy a house, you repair it, and then you sell it. But what if you could just find the good deal, which is really hard to come by, okay? And then you could sell that house to an investor and not have to deal with any of the repairs, any of the hiring and firing of contractors, dealing with setbacks, surprises, and the disposition of those properties on the sale side of things with realtors and commissions and all that other stuff. You don't have to do any of that. You just find a deal and you sell it to an investor. And you make whatever you want to make in that deal, right? And as I mentioned before, I've seen very frequently investor will make $5,000 in a deal, and I know investors that have made six figures on just one deal. Not very common, but it does happen. So how does what's called an assignment of contract work, or maybe you've heard wholesale work? In Texas, the legal way to describe this process is called an assignment of contract. That's because you will have a contract that is signed with a seller, right, saying, hey, I'm going to buy this property. And in Texas, you can do this two ways. One, you can write your name as the buyer, and then you add the words or assignee behind that. And then you fill out the rest of the contract. If you're not sure how to do that, that will become in a following video in this series that we're starting off here, explaining you all the steps you need to know. So stay with us. Then, very simplistically, what happens is you take that contract to another investor and say, hey, I have the right to buy this property for this much. Here's the contract. And I'm going to sell my right for $5,000. Or I'm going to sell my right for $100,000, whatever that be. And then that investor, because it's hard for them to find a good deal, has no problem paying that money in order to get the deal and make the profit on a flip, because you brought them the deal, okay? And then the second way of doing this is called a double close. And a double close, the advantage with a double close is that the investor doesn't know how much you're making and the seller doesn't know how much you're making. If you're doing the other way, which is maybe the more traditional way, both sides will know what you're making. So you do need to make sure you're explicit and disclose, so there's no surprises at the closing table. Me being a realtor, I'm going to disclose no matter what process I take, because that's the rules for being a realtor. But anyways, double close, essentially what you're doing in a double close, it's a little bit different. You write the contract as if you're going to buy the property. You go and then you sell the right to essentially buy that, but you're going to write a separate contract and you're going to do a double close at title. So on closing days, you're actually going to buy the house and you're going to own it for, I don't know, a couple hours, and then you're going to sell that house the same day at the same title company. And so the thing here is you actually have the money to bring to purchase that house in this scenario, or you have to use a lender that's willing to just spot you that money. It could be private money, it could be hard money. There's a number of ways to do that, but functionally that's how that works. All right. So why would a buyer, let's say you found that lender, right, and you had the money wasn't a problem, why would a buyer assign a contract and give another investor the upside and the flip? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, right? So there's two reasons we see this frequently. One, maybe they just don't have the cash and the capital to actually get the hard money or do other things. That's how you do this with $100. Just earnest money and option money is $100. Write the contract, go. Or number two, you have the one thing. Maybe you've heard the book, The One Thing, Gary Keller, famous book. His whole philosophy is focus on one thing. And in real estate investing, there's a lot of things that go into making a successful real estate investing business. You have to be able to consistently find deals. You have to be able to renovate those properties. There's a lot that goes into that with risk management, etc. Then you have to be able to sell those properties, right? And so if you can get rid of all the operations headaches, all the extra staff that goes into dealing with contractors, dealing with realtors on the sales side and all that stuff, and you can focus on just finding good deals, you'll see many wholesalers actually build multiple six-figure businesses just doing that one thing. There's a lot of big ones here in town in Houston that hire many, many people, and they are really good at marketing and sales skills that enable them to build that business. So that is why you see a lot of people getting into this and building those businesses. So we're going to show you what goes into building a deal finding business. There's a lot that goes into this. This may sound super easy, but there's a lot you have to consider in making this an effective business. So what does go into a deal finding business? Here it is. Starts off with finding cash buyers and finding the right title company that knows how to do an assignment contract. Not all of them do. Knowing where are your lead sources, how to reach those leads, the tools you'll need to use to get follow-up and keep engaged. What is an after repair value, also known as ARV, on a property? How do you find that out? Then how do you estimate your repairs? And then how do you structure your deal in such a way that the investor makes money, you make money, the seller makes money, everybody's happy, right? Avoid analysis paralysis. There's a lot of numbers in this. If you are doing all these manually every time, you just won't get anything done. So we're going to give you ways to automate that. Cool tips and tricks. Lead funnel. How do you manage that lead funnel and keep them all moving forward and know when to burn a lead and when to keep working it, so on and so forth. Seller appointment. How do you go there? How do you talk to them? How do you go about, running the numbers and make that rapport? And then obviously how to make that offer and how to negotiate it. Then we get into things like how to write a contract in Texas, which we're going to cover. And then marketing your assignment of contract. How do you make it appealing for other investors and make it really easy for them to analyze your deal when you're bringing it to them? And then last of all, bringing the deal to close. Most all the leads that you're going to be targeting have some sort of problem with the property or the situation or title, and they make it a good opportunity for an investor to provide a value add service and give that investor the upside. You're not going to pull the wool over people's eyes. So you're going to face a number of issues or challenges, give you some tips or tricks to help you get over those. So keep in touch here, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us for emails as we update you on a weekly basis. We'll be covering each of these topics in much more detail, equipping you to go out and find deals yourself And again, we're in Houston, Texas, so if you are based in Houston, Texas, we can help you with the local rules. That's really kind of most of what our content's going to be around here is in this area. Reach out to us, follow us on social media, and let's roll. Get your deal done.